I'm gonna tell you why taking breaks is ruining your productivity. And I'm gonna use a little bit of physics. So we've all heard the phrase, objects in motion, stay in motion, and objects at rest, stay at rest. But I wanna get a little bit deeper into what that actually means and how you can use it to help bolster your productivity habits. So to start off, an object that is at rest will have static friction. An object that's moving will have kinetic friction. So when the two things are like this, you have static friction and I'm moving. So as soon as they start moving like this, they break the static friction and it becomes kinetic friction, right? It's moving, they're moving past each other. So in both scenarios, they both have friction, right? Static, kinetic, but static friction has a higher coefficient than kinetic friction, which means in turn that it's harder to start than to keep going. See where I'm going with this? All right, so now that we got that all defined up, let's kind of start getting into how you can use Newton's first law into being more productive. So first, what you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to identify the habits that you wanna start or stop. So whether that's watching porn, whether that's playing video games, whether you want to start working out, or whether you want to wake up early in the morning. It doesn't really matter what the habit is. You just need to identify what you need to do in your life in order to make the improvement that you wanna see. The way I do that is I like to just sit in silence, do nothing, right? I like to shut everything off. I need silence, I need to think, and not even music. All I do is I think about the things that I want, the things that I'm trying to do in life, and I write them down, right? Whether that's in a note or whether it's in my journal, I have to get it down on paper just so that it's a solidified thing. I've put it out into the world and I know that that's what I'm going to do and that's what I want to do, all right? So, because if you just leave it in your head, there's nothing, you can't see it. It's hard to act on something that you can't really see. So the second step is to actually get started on the thing, right? And I know step number 2, that's gonna be the hardest one, and that's the one where everybody gets hung up because we all know what we need to do, kind of like we all have an idea that, oh, I need to wake up earlier so I have more time, or I need to stop eating junk food so I can lose weight, right? We all know what we need to do. But we actually have to take those necessary steps and get started, and I know, it's hard. So you're gonna have to overcome that static friction, that friction that's keeping you right here, that you're not moving. You're gonna have to overcome that friction and just get started. So what I mean by that is if say the habit that you wanna do is start going to the gym, you have to put the shoes on, right? You gotta get the clothes on. You have to get to the gym. You don't have to stay there for an hour, 2 hours the first time, right? Obviously, just go, lift a couple weights, get used to the idea of going to the gym and go home, all right? You did it, accomplished, mission accomplished. Then the next day, you go and then you lift maybe a couple more sets. You get maybe 3 sets in instead of 2. Or maybe you do an extra exercise, and so maybe you do chest press and you do some flies. What you're doing is you're picking up speed and you're overcoming that static friction that's stopping you from getting started. And then the third step, which sounds really simple, but I guess it kind of is simple. Just keep going, right? So a lot of times we get started on something and it's hard because we're still trying to overcome that static friction to turn it into a moving object, right? Turn it into an actual habit that we continue over time. But once you do that, it will get easier and easier to stay doing the thing that you want to do, right? So if you're trying to quit porn, that first week, that first month, first 3 months is gonna be hard. But once you get into the habit, it's harder to stop than it is to keep going. All right, you see what I'm saying? You just have to keep pushing that big boulder, and as long as you keep it going, you're gonna be able to maintain motion. Once you let that object, that big boulder that you're pushing, that gym habit that you've been working on, once you let that come to a stop, you're gonna have to restart the whole process. You're gonna have to identify, oh shoot, I forgot, I'm not going to the gym today. Then you're gonna have to actually get it started. Like I said, which is the hardest part. It's easy to just let it stay at rest because that's what it's naturally gonna do, according to Isaac Newton. But if you're keeping the object moving, the tendency of the object is to keep moving unless it's acted on by an opposite force. I have a lot of firsthand experience with this in my life, but also very relevant recently. I went on a couple vacations. I went to Florida, and then I went to Deep Creek, and then I got a puppy, and then I took time off from the gym because I didn't have access to a gym when I was in Florida or in Deep Creek. So I just kind of let all of my habits that I was working on, that I've been building, all my progress towards my goals, kind of came to a halt. And even posting YouTube videos, I was posting 2 times a week. I was posting some shorts here and there. I was getting stuff out, but then as soon as all that came to a halt, you haven't seen me for a while. You know why? Because I stopped. And it's so hard to get yourself back into a habit that you were already in. It's harder to get that big boulder moving than it is to keep it moving. All right, so since I stopped, it's harder for me to get back into the habit instead of if I had just done it maybe a little bit less. Maybe I slowed the boulder down a little bit, and then I could pick up the speed, once I get back into the actual rhythm of life, I could pick up the speed and I'm still going. But since I stopped, the boulder completely stopped, all right? I went to the other side and I was like, hold on, stop for a second. Now I'm like, man, this is gonna be a lot of effort. I'm gonna be really tired pushing that boulder around. I'm gonna be really tired setting up this YouTube setup and getting my stuff together. Man, it's not gonna be easy. Maybe when I have some more time, but no, you're not gonna have more time. Your life is just gonna keep getting busier, especially if you're a young person like me or even younger. If you're 18 or younger, your life's just gonna keep getting busier, right? So it's like, think about brushing your teeth or washing your face or taking a shower. You don't stop doing those things just because your life gets busy or just because you go on vacation. You keep doing the thing. So that's what you're gonna have to turn those habits that you want, that you need, that are gonna make your life better. You're gonna have to keep those going as much as you possibly can. Even, like I said, even if you have to slow down, I don't recommend you let that boulder come to a stop. Now, I'm not saying don't take breaks, all right? I definitely understand that we burn out, all right? We can't keep pushing that boulder forever without getting tired. Obviously, we need it to stop. We need to get some water. We need to recharge the batteries. But try and make those rests not quite as long, you know what I mean? Try and actively rest while you're doing it, So don't push yourself till you're burnt out and then you have to take 3 months off, because once that 3 months is up, that 3 months likely is gonna turn into a year, likely gonna turn into a couple years, or you know what I mean? Things start to get away from you once you start to take longer and longer breaks. Take the time, the boulder even keeps moving. Once you stop pushing it for a bit, it's gonna keep moving, all right? You don't have to worry about it 24/7. Take some time, actually take a real rest. And I don't mean sit there, play video games, or just screw off, whatever. No, take some actual rest. Find people that recharge, or if you're more introverted, take some time to yourself, because you don't need to post a YouTube video 20 times a day, right? You just post it once a week. I'm talking to myself right now, obviously, because I let everything go for the sake of vacation and getting the puppy, and now I have all this responsibility. And then it actually was harder to get this whole new setup put together, and then I just kept putting it off until I finally said, all right, I'm getting up, I'm putting my shoes on, and I'm putting hands on this boulder, and I'm pushing this damn boulder, all right? I'm tired of this boulder just sitting here. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to get across today. If you agree with me and you want to hear my take on some more of these types of topics, especially when it comes to self-improvement and just life in general, I feel like we all need some sort of person that understands us. And I feel like we can understand each other. If you've made it to this far in the video, we understand each other, and we can talk in the comments, whatever. Follow me on Instagram, you can talk to me in the DM. I don't care. Just reach out, I understand you, and I'm sure you understand some of the things that I'm talking about, and we're gonna figure this out together. So if you wanna do that, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, all that stuff is in the description, and like the video. It helps me, helps me get up in the algorithm. I don't know how that works, but yeah, let's get moving and let's keep moving. See ya.